Hey everybody, it's me, you, and the blended crew. It's me, Randy.
And Madi.
And we're here for our very first of hopefully many Q&A sessions. Alright, so our first question comes from Zuli, and her subject is teenage boys. Let's get into this. My son used to be a loving, caring boy. Now as a teenager, I can't even get a good morning. I try to start up simple, fun conversations, but all I get are one-word answers. My son used to be a good kid, so maybe it's just me. We doubt that. Maybe I'm not cool enough. We've all said the same thing. How can I be more involved in his life without prying and or demanding answers? Please help. Zuli, thanks for the question. I'm going to defer to Madi as she has successfully raised one teenage boy and is actively working on her second. And let's see how we do.
Yeah, like one wasn't enough.
One wasn't enough.
Yeah, they become moody, ornery, and self-absorbed little bears. But they're in there somewhere deep inside, you know, and as parents we tend to blame ourselves and ask ourselves, where did we go wrong? But it's really not us. It's nature, not nurture. Adolescent boys' lack of empathy is biological.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
Absolutely. I think I would refer to it as a phase. It's not always easy to deal with, but there's just so much more to it than just that. It's not easy. I think it's easy to let him go, but...
Well, no, actually, because I did some research. My eldest became really, really quiet after we were like so close. And I often wondered like what was going on. And it's like walking on eggshells because you're afraid to do too much or do too little, like be too involved or too under-involved. And so I had to do research and find out what was going on. And I found a study published in the Journal of Developmental Psychology. And this study noted that boys, adolescents especially, show a temporary decline in affective empathy. So like in their ability to recognize and respond to other people's feelings.
Right, right.
So they're not really doing this to you. It's just that they're not able to respond. They're going through hormonal changes and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Like when I think of it, I think of sometimes like the changes that women go through later in life where it just, you know, I see some of my friends that go through that, and as an adult you still have a difficult time dealing with that. So imagine a young boy going through like the rise in testosterone and, you know, and they're trying to figure out what their thoughts are, who they really are, and they're trying to find their words and their voice. And, you know, it's so much and so fast, because if you look at them, they go from like being, well, that's what's happening with Max. Like 1 week he's here and then the next week he's there. 1 week he's speaking like a baby with a squeaky voice and the next week he sounds like a frog.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a lot going on.
We do get the one-word answers from time to time, and he just seems like he's on another planet, and it's like, Max, anybody in there? We do get that, so it's very, very common, and it's not you. Trust us, it's not you.
Yeah, so pretty much you just give him time. Give him time. He's really just discovering who he is and what he really thinks. He also needs time to like put his thoughts into words and the courage to say what his thoughts are out loud, and be prepared, because sometimes when they are able to tell you out loud, it stings. But you also have to assure him that, you know, you love him no matter what,
and that he can come to you.
Yeah, and that's never going to change no matter what he says, and that will eventually allow your teen to emerge and come to you and start speaking to you. I actually recently had a conversation with my now 24-year-old. Well, he was 23 when we had this conversation, and he told me a lot of the things that he felt then And this conversation came about because he sees his little brother's behavior towards me.
Oh.
And he was like, why? He recognized his own behavior and his little brother's behavior. And he thinks to himself, why did I behave that way? And they don't even understand what they're doing. They don't understand how they're affecting you. It is not intentional. And so, you know, when he explained it to me and now he understands and he's a little bit more patient with his brother because he sees his behavior in his brothers, it helped me understand that it wasn't about me, that it wasn't anything that I was doing wrong. It really wasn't about him. It's just a phase. It's just, well, not a phase, but it's something that they have to go through in order to get to where they need to be the man that they will become.
How can I be more involved in their life without prying or demanding answers?
Well, I think that you have to just continue to let them know that you're interested. Continue to let them know that you're there. And don't act angry when they don't tell you, when they don't talk to you. Don't take it personally.
They'll stop coming to you because they're afraid you're going to overreact. So overreacting?
Yeah, just kind of be easy. I mean, try to check your own feelings. I know it's difficult. Like, I just recently, I cried because I had made all these plans with Max, and Max had his grandmother call me and tell me that he didn't want to hang out with me, that he had a party to go to. And I was so upset and I was so hurt. But then I understood that, you know, a 13-year-old wants to hang out with 13-year-olds, not go to art galleries with their moms. So just understand that it is not personal. Maybe you can remember how it was for you to be a teen, but if you can't, understand that it's hormonal and that they will come out of it, and then they will talk and talk and talk, and then you're gonna wish that they didn't.
All right. Hope that helps you, Zuli.
Yeah.
We have another question. This one is from Lisa R.
Yes.
Lisa R. had some really good questions, so we're gonna try to just spitfire them back at you. So, first question is, did you hire a nanny or have family help with watching children while doing errands? Simple answer for me. The answer is no nanny. Just shared time between the co-parents.
And grandparents.
When necessary, absolutely. If you have that luxury, if your grandparents are still there to be of help and they're willing, great resource, take advantage. I've never had to use a nanny. Ever?
I had
friends, family? Or?
Yeah, I had friends, I had family. I also had, I actually did have a nanny. But that can be expensive. I fortunately had this space to have someone live in-house with me, so that lowered the rate because I was offering room and board. But after my children were old enough, because my kids are spaced out, so for me it became easier. Like if I had to run out for anything to the store or whatever, once my eldest was old enough, then he would stay home and keep an eye on the younger ones. And I had a lot of support from my mother and their grandparents. So after a point, I didn't need a nanny anymore and pretty much had my own little village of support.
Okay. Next question. Let's try to be quick.
Okay.
Work-life balance. Again, this is from Lisa R. So thanks for all the questions, Lisa. Do you work on the weekends? I'm always behind in work and have to catch up. Lately, it's working as I can catch up when my son is with his dad. Okay. Well, in my situation, I alternate weekends. So the only thing I truly need to catch up with, I don't work weekends, first of all. Sorry about that. I don't work weekends. You don't work weekends.
I did, though, at one point, but I'll let you finish.
Okay. But I tried to keep my weekends with the kids for them. I try to avoid scheduling work, if at all possible, on weekends, because I think that's really the most fun quality time I get to have. Because weekdays, it's homework, homework, homework. Weekends, it's free time.
Well, I used to work weekends for a very long time, and that took away from my quality time with my children, and I wish I had more control over that, but I didn't. So my children were away usually on the weekend, and I had days off during the week, so I was the parent that took them to doctor's appointments and did parent-teacher conference and all of that during the week, but the quality time was affected. Now, I do not work weekends, and since we have alternating weekends, it always allows me a weekend free to catch up on anything I need to do.
If it were work or cleaning up the house, that sort of thing. Okay? Yeah. Hope that helps. Next one is homework. This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you discuss with your ex the homework situation? My ex does minimal with homework help when son is with him on the weekends. Hope I got that right. Okay. Homework. No, it was implied that each parent would take responsibility for helping their kids with the necessary homework. But I do have a suggestion if it doesn't work out that way. If I'm going to put myself in your shoes, Lisa. If I'm the only one doing homework and the other parent does not, we have to have that discussion. And if the discussion doesn't resolve it, then I may suggest getting the kids back earlier on Sunday than normal. If you get them Sunday night, for example, maybe get them early Sunday.
Yeah, but that's not fair. That's not fair.
Well, it's if there's no getting around it. If you've had that discussion and nothing came out of it, this is just one alternative I'm suggesting. You don't have to take it, but it's just one.
But I feel like, each parent is responsible for their homework when they have the child. Now, however,
agreed. You can't make somebody do something they don't want to do.
Yes, but you also shouldn't have to pick up their slack. So if they're not willing to put in the work and sit there, because we also have laundry, we have work, we have things to catch up on. So if they're not willing to put in the work, then my suggestion is then speak to the other parent and see if they'll contribute to after school help.
Oh, that's great.
Or a tutor or something that can assist with homework, because
And
that
that
burden shouldn't, yes, and that they'll pay for because they don't want to put in the time, because that burden shouldn't fall on one parent.
I think I like that idea better.
I like it too.
Okay. Hope that helped. Another question. Oh, this is a good one. This is a hot one. Picky eaters. I'm a mom of a picky eater. Son does not eat meat. How did you introduce new foods? We just worked this out in the last few weeks because it's a developmental thing, and my kids are just catching up to phases where her kids have already long since passed still experiencing at this point. So, do we have it here, or is it in the room?
I actually put it, I'll get it.
I purchased a recipe book designed for kids. And it's not just fried food, junk food, mac and cheese. It's well more than that. And with this book, and I'm not necessarily recommending this one, but just as an example, this one is quick and easy, kid-friendly meals. I think it's from the parents' website. So they downloaded recipes here, and I gave it to Max, and I had him check off what we call Max approved meals. So you may notice on a few pages,
They're very few.
Very few.
You may not even find one. It's earlier in the book, because that's dessert.
There's a nice M on there for Max approved. That's her son, and I have to give it to my daughter Dominique. This is a Max approved. Sometimes there's stipulations, no popcorn. Sometimes there's stipulations, but so when they're empowered to have some control over what they eat, everybody wins, because generally speaking, most everything in here is pretty healthy. It's not fast food. So they're making their own choices, they have control, and they're more willing to be a participant.
Yeah.
So we use that.
I'm sorry. And if they're part of the process as well, like part of cooking, I find, like more with your kids, when they're part of the process, like they're making the meatballs and stuff, then they want to eat the food that they created because they were part of making that. And they also want to see how you react to their cooking.
Yes.
So it flips the roles, and they want to watch you enjoy their meals.
So getting them involved, something like this, has been a help. A side note on that is because we have the kids for half the week, I give them, so out of the 3 days that I have them, and then obviously on my weekend it stretches out to 5, I take the bulk of the days and I say, okay, well, I have you for 3 days this week. This is a short week. And I'll give you 2 days of your choice, and the third day is my choice. But on that third day, there's no bickering. You eat what is made, no questions asked. So if it's Brussels sprouts, they're going to have to eat it. They're going to have to buckle down and eat it. And if it's something a little bit less than that, maybe just broccoli, they got to eat it. In your case, it would be meat, Lisa. But this is how we've worked around it. So hopefully that will help you in your quest to conquer the picky eaters.
Well, also, one thing that I did read about picky eaters is that it's not even about the food, it's about establishing independence. You know how when children decide that they want to wear orange one day and another day they don't want to eat green food? It's really not even, they may have not even tasted a green food, they just decided green is not the color they want and they're not going to eat it. I was a picky eater. And
not anymore. I fixed that.
Oh, I thought you were calling me fat. Anyway.
Oh, no. No, I fixed that.
I really had a problem with my mom trying to force me to eat things. So, like, I feel like don't be too hard, because the more you persist, the more they resist. Like, just try, put it there. I mean, if your child, as children grow, the healthy appetite that they had as babies and toddlers diminishes because they need less food. We tend to think that children need to eat a lot because in this country, we're used to bigger portions. But the reality of it is that they don't need as much. If your child is growing at a good rate, is healthy, is not lethargic, then he's okay. And when he's hungry, he will eat. So if you're having a really bad time with that and your child isn't really deficient or below, what is it called?
Below par?
No, below the scales. Like, what is it called? I forgot. Like below their growth chart or anything like that, then there's really not too much to worry about, and they will find their appetite eventually.
Oh yeah, and just be mindful, no snacks before dinner, keep them hungry.
Yeah.
You know, you give them a little oatmeal or something before you ruin their appetite, they're not going to eat half of the meal that you took time to prepare, and when you go out of your way to do things like this, it just kind of ruins the moment, so, and the opportunity. So good luck with that. Hope that helps.
And the last question from Lisa is support group. Are there any support groups or Facebook online support groups for newly single parents?
Oh, I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands, of support groups. I've not had to resort to one, so I don't have one to recommend, but you could still watch us.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, I have never really been a part of a support group. Like when I really was going through it as a single parent, I went to therapy. I believe in therapy. And usually your therapist can recommend a support group in your area. I'm not sure where you live, but your therapist can recommend one. But for the most part, I did my own research. I read a lot. I'm always trying to improve, always trying to find different ways to parent. And so I became my own support system, and in that I became Randy's support system as well. And the two of us together, we've managed to figure things out and implement them in our parenting.
Lives, yeah.
And it's working. So maybe we can be your support group.
High five. We got some more questions.
Okay.
They just keep coming. Oh no, that's cousin Dr. Axel. He wants some more sancocho. We'll get that to you later.
I'll text you.
Jitter Flakes. Hey, Jitter
Hey
Flakes.
guys. What is?
All right, let's do this one easy. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food changes so much. Right now, it's tacos.
Oh my gosh, I love a nice big juicy steak. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Who's the youngest? The youngest is Mateo. Mateo's 5.
Yeah.
What else we got from Jitter Flakes? How do you teach your kids about your relationship, breakups, and new figure? Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, well, I could tell the story about how we started in terms of when I asked Dominique permission.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, we did cover this in another episode, but just real brief. When Marty and I were just getting started, I was very, very tentative on. Well, I was just contemplating on how I was going to introduce her to the kids, because this was the first time that they were meeting somebody since my divorce. So this was a big moment, a big opportunity, and I think we made a great choice. We worked together to come up with a kind of a plan, and ultimately I asked my daughter, who was older, she was 5 at the time, now she's 9. I asked her permission. She had met Mari previously on 1 or 2 occasions, or maybe more than a couple of occasions.
Well, she had seen me via
Hangouts,
like FaceTime.
But it was exclusively as introduced as a friend, and so I took the opportunity to empower her. And I said, "So, what do you think of Mari?" And she said, "Well, I like her a lot." And I was like, "I think I like her too. What would you think if I asked her to be my girlfriend?" And she got really excited. Her eyes got big. She was jumping up and down. She was like, "Ooh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Go ask her now. Ask her now." So I called Mari and got her on the phone and said, "Mari, I have a question for you."
And he asked me if I would be his girlfriend like we were in junior high school.
And my daughter was listening in the conversation. She's right there with me,
It
jumping
was
up
the
and down,
sweetest thing.
waiting for, the answer. Now, at this point, I was very comfortable with where the relationship was going. I was very comfortable with the person that Mari is and was and still continues to be. And so I was very positive that this was going to work. We just had that vibe. So it wasn't like I was introducing my kids to somebody here today, gone tomorrow. I just had a sixth sense about it, and I was right. 3 years in the making. So that's how we managed this one.
And how we told our children about breakups. Well,
oh yeah.
My children are older, and so when this happened, when I separated, the younger two were younger, and so they kind of accepted that, mommy and daddy were not going to be together anymore. And I told my son, I have a policy about being very honest with them. So I didn't really sugarcoat it or anything. I was just very honest. And I've always wanted to have a healthy relationship and show my children what healthy relationships are. And if a relationship isn't healthy, then I think it's as damaging for you as it is for the children. So it is important to remove them from that situation, because children learn to love from their parents. And if you're not doing a good job at that, then that's not the situation that they should be in. And so I was very honest with my kids and explained everything to them.
I was too. I tried to avoid the adult issues in regards to my divorce, and I just kept it simple. And the bottom line was that mommy and daddy don't get along. We are not right for each other, and we don't get along. We were at one point, or at least we thought we were, but things didn't develop that way. And my daughter remembers overhearing one or two disagreements that we had, but thankfully I was able to get out before any real fighting erupted or anything of that sort, like some folks get into. So it was the right time to make a change, and that's as much information as my kids needed to process the reason why. Yes, I did get the but why, or are you ever going to get back together? And I once in a blue moon, that might still pop up, but the answer is consistent, and they need that consistency.
Yes.
And just letting them know it's not ever going to happen. Mom and daddy are never going to get back together. That's the bottom line. Plain and simple. Don't need details. Don't need to throw anybody under the bus. So I think simple is better in that case.
Yeah, and right now our focus is to teach them how a good relationship works and how it looks and how affection and romance and courtship looks, because we're raising someone's future wife and someone's future husband, and we want to do a good job at that, since in part when a relationship fails, there are two people that are responsible, so we have to accept responsibility for not working in that relationship.
Yep. Jitterflix had one last question that's up here, and that was, how did you guys meet?
Aha!
You guys. We actually met online.
Yep.
We use one of these social dating service apps, and
we have an episode actually coming up about
you can keep your eyes out for it. But plain and simple, we met online, online dating. So it worked for us. It can work for you.
Well, not
Don't
them.
count it out.
No, not
Oh, not you, Jitterflix. No,
no, they're happy.
Other single mom and dads out there. All right, we have some more questions. You want to go Goldilocks, or should we go with Winnie, or?
I want to try and answer all of them.
Okay, let's go with Winnie right now. Just one question. Hey, Winnie. Winnie's question is, if you were to plan an international vacation together, where would you go and why? I'm assuming it's with the whole family?
Yes, with the kids.
Oh.
Well, okay.
Well, we're planning something big. You want to take this one?
All right. So here's the thing. We do 2 vacations per year. One with the whole family and one just us. The reason why we do that is because we have children in different age groups, and it's hard to satisfy all of their needs in one vacation.
Yeah.
So if like we went to Disney, the older kids don't want to go to Disney, the younger kids don't want to go to Universal. So it's kind of like we had to split things up, and then we learned from that. So what we found has worked for us is cruises. Because when you do a cruise, you get to go to another country or several other countries, and you board the ship. You don't leave the ship, pretty much not until you go on land tours.
Yeah.
But the cruises usually have events and activities for different age groups. So the little ones,
disco, kids club, swimming pools, slides, tennis courts, basketball courts, to kind of tackle all age groups.
everything you can
It's
think
wonderful.
of, they have.
Wonderful.
And so everybody is satisfied. Like when we did it the first time, we, you know, it was just kind of like a test. Neither one of us had been on a cruise. Well, at least I hadn't.
It's been like 15 years since I've been on.
So we weren't sure, but when we did the first one, the kids were so happy that we've just done one every year since. And so we go to different countries on cruises because food is included, beverages are usually included.
We did the Caribbean once, Bahamas, a Bahamas focused to a cruise. Then we did Canada.
Yes.
And now we're going back to the Caribbean.
We're doing 7 islands in the Caribbean
Later this summer.
later this summer. So
Thanks for the question. Goldilocks, here we go. All right. How do you guys see your relationship, family in 5 years and in 10 years? Well, my
haven't discussed
my
that.
kids will still be in school. Your kids will be pretty much done. Yeah, so I'll be dealing with teenagers.
I think we're going to be just fine, probably still doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've been pretty consistent about it.
Watching our videos to remind us of what we're going through now. But with my kids, yeah. So I think that we're going to be great with all this.
Well, we just
information.
actually had this conversation like 2 days ago or a day ago.
About 10 years
No,
ago?
not about 10 years from now, but like just pretty much like I have no doubt that I see myself with you till the road ends.
Oh yeah, we did.
So other than that, I don't
Is that
know.
when we were talking about my insurance policy?
Yeah, that's when we were talking about the insurance policy.
All right. Thanks a lot. We are gonna. Is that all of our questions? No, I know we have more.
No, there is.
Another question. Excellent. Yeah, that's it. We got more somewhere else, maybe. All right, guys. You have more questions, we're more than willing to entertain them. Keep them coming. We love our fans. We love our support groups. Thank you guys for all the questions that we got so far. Hope we did a good job answering them.
Yeah, this was fun.
Maybe we can do this on a monthly basis. Let us know if you like what you saw and you want to keep it coming. Comment down below.
Or you can email us at meyouandtheblendedcrew@gmail.com.
Absolutely. So send us a Gmail. You can direct message us, comment on our Instagram page, and get back to us.
And don't forget to subscribe,
Hit the bell so you're notified.
Comment, and share.
Tell a friend.
Yes.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
See ya. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.